I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Tuesday, April the 19th. A couple of big stories developing this week, and it's kind of hard to know where to begin. They end up being somewhat related as things turn out. First of all, news began leaking yesterday. It was first reported on our Arkansas blog that State Education Commissioner Johnny Key had decided to get rid of Baker Kurrus as superintendent of Little Rock School District. You know, the district's been taken over by the state. Key serves as the school board for the district. He hired Kurrus a year ago to run the district, and he's done a great job by every single account. He's cut the budget, he's improved school operations, he's hired better principals, he's started work on a new middle school, he's brought in Teach for America. He's done everything right except in the eyes of Johnny Key and Asa Hutchinson and the Republican administration, one thing. He went before the State Board of Education and raised questions about the damage that charter schools do to Little Rock School District and creaming off higher income students. He raised questions too about whether they've served as innovations of educational experience and whether they've produced results for students. His figures were pretty damaging. They have hurt the Little Rock School District. They haven't performed that well. I did a study of this week's Arkansas School Report Card. The middle schools in Little Rock generally do better than the charter schools in Little Rock, even though they were established first, particularly because of the supposed dire circumstances of Little Rock middle schools. In any event, Kurrus has taken the high road. He's not going to talk about it. He says it's Key's position to decide who's in charge, and Key has picked Michael Poore, who's been a superintendent, guess where, in Bentonville, home of the Walton fortune, which is pushing the charter school agenda to be the new superintendent. Some people rate him highly. They say he has experience in turning around school districts in Colorado. He's had no experience in school districts with a large percentage of minority students, as Little Rock has. They say he's a community-oriented, kid-oriented leader, and that's a good thing, but so was Baker Kurrus. It was really insulting when Poore put out a statement last night that said the Little Rock School District needed a strong, disciplined leader. We had one in Baker Kurrus. Johnny Key got rid of him. He was careful to say at a news conference today that Baker Kurrus had not been fired, but if you have a job you want to keep and you're told you're not going to get it any longer, it sounds like a firing to me. The complication of this has been this came just as Asa Hutchinson was hoping to get through the legislature his compromise version of a way to expand the Medicaid program and get 75 votes for passage. A number of Little Rock legislators were none too happy to find out about the sacking of Baker Kurrus. He's widely respected in the community. He was a total class act in his appearance with Johnny Key at a televised news conference today. They certainly are inclined, I think, to slow the process down on Medicaid because of what the governor has done. But there were already problems that had developed on that. The governor tried to ram that plan through last week. It had legal problems. Democrats have raised questions about the legality of a line item veto that would be overridden and whether the veto could apply to the Arkansas Works Medicaid expansion program. There are also some Democrats that are resistant of having to vote for something in a manner that it's structured that they're voting against something they're for while Republicans get off the hook. Republicans are standing by ready to make hay. A good example is Lieutenant Governor Tim Griffin, who refuses to say precisely what his position is on the Arkansas Works program, even though he could be in a position to succeed the governor and have to carry out the veto plan if something terrible were to happen to Governor Asa Hutchinson. So Republicans are playing this always. Democrats are a little tired of getting played, and we have kind of a big mess going on out there at the legislature right now. I think it's going to drag on a little bit longer than we thought. What's missing, I think, in Little Rock today is some strong words from the leadership, political leadership in the Little Rock Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce led the move to take over the Little Rock School District. I think they still think that was the right thing to do, but they certainly shouldn't be happy about Baker Kurrus's removal because he was one of them and he was doing a heck of a good job. They've issued a tepid statement that doesn't begin to reflect the outrage it should reflect for Asa Hutchinson pulling the rug out from under a proven leader. There's also the question of the Little Rock City Board of Directors. Finally, late last night, Mayor Mark Stodler said he was appalled by what had happened and would talk to the governor, not that that will have any use. But there's been silence from a lot of the other members of the City Board of Directors, and that's a shame. The shape of this city in years going forward is going to depend to a great deal on the strength of Little Rock School District. They need to stand up and be counted. Meanwhile, at the legislature, Republicans are not happy in the House that they're not voting on budget bills. They've been delaying budget bill votes until the Medicaid expansion issue was settled. Republicans say this is a waste of time and expenses. They need to move forward. However, if the Medicaid expansion isn't approved, they're going to be short $100 million or more and all those appropriation bills they pass now thinking that money's coming in would be worthless. They'd have to redo them all. So that's a problem too. And finally, we need to keep up with the bathroom front. A U.S. appeals court in Virginia has ruled that it was illegal Unconstitutional sex discrimination for Virginia to set a rule that said a person who was born as a female but who now identifies as a man could not use a male school restroom. This has application in the whole Fourth Circuit, which includes the state of North Carolina. It should be a lesson to other states wanting to do this sort of thing, but I just have a sinking feeling, given the Arkansas legislature, that the courts don't mean much when it comes to ideology. Another kind of gloomy day. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.